Sometimes life seems like it's nothing but a giant circle of unending horribleness. That horribleness could be caused by things we can't control or things that we can, by pain or other physical issues, or living situations or jobs, or the lack of either or both, illness, death, emotional hurts, worries, fears, so many different things that often seem to cycle endlessly in our lives beyond our control, while we perceive ourselves as getting nowhere. This is a story of one man and his cycle and his process of learning the one thing we can control in all circumstances: our focus. Somewhere in Minnesota, USA, Mike sat in the waiting room of the hospital again. The mid-40-year-old had been dealing with massive health issues for years now. The severe pain, stomach issues, head fogginess, depression, everything was taking a huge toll on his life, his family, his marriage, his job. He felt absolutely hopeless. After going to doctor after doctor, no one could figure out why his weight kept plummeting, why his body was essentially destroying itself. And yet, whenever the pain got totally unbearable, it would drive him to seek some relief in the faint hope that just maybe this time they would find a cure. And so here Mike sat in the hospital waiting room again, alone. His wife had dropped him off, unable to stay with him and go through it all again. If he was honest about it, he really was very alienated from her and everyone else in his life, and he knew that his marriage was rapidly falling apart. They'd even been talking about divorcing the other day. With all the medical things, it was hard to even care about it anymore. So Mike sat in the waiting room, again, waiting to be called back. He listened to the drone of the TV, the voices of nurses talking at their desk, the constant beeps and clicks of medical machinery running in the patients' rooms near him. He thought back to a conversation he'd had 2 weeks ago with a friend at church who was just finishing up going through his own host of medical issues. That friend had had the audacity to say that he was glad that he had gone through all the horrific medical things he'd gone through for the past year, because he'd learned so much and he'd come out stronger in the end. Ugh, stupidest thing anyone has ever said, Mike muttered. Then, through the mind-numbing fog of his pain and worries, he heard the voices of a mother and child heading down the hall toward him. As they came closer, Mike saw a young mother holding tightly to the hand of her little boy. Like most little boys of 4 or 5, he was constantly talking and chattering away while his mother listened. "Mommy, look at this desk. It's huge," he cried while tugging her hand toward the nurse's desk. "Yes, honey, it is really big, isn't it?" she replied, then gently tugged his hand back to the hallway. "But we need to go this way." A few more steps forward, and, Mommy, look at that stairway. I want to go up there," he enthused, this time tugging her toward the stairs. "Yes, baby, it looks like it could go someplace really, really interesting. But right now, we need to go this way," she replied, once again leading him back across the hallway. A few more steps more, and, Mommy, look at this painting with the pretty flowers." "Yes, honey, I see it. Those are very pretty flowers, and we need to go this way," she replied, ushering him farther down the hallway. As they continued down the hallway out of sight, Mike continued to hear the child excitedly comment on everything he found interesting, while his mom continued to patiently acknowledge his words and usher him down the corridor to their intended destination. As their voices faded out of earshot, Mike realized something. He knew that he was the child of God, and that God was faithfully with him. Also knew that he was like that little boy, holding tight to God's hand to be led, but making the leading very difficult because Mike kept trying to lead instead. Mike felt like he could feel God saying to him, "My child, I have places for you to go. I want to lead you, but you keep getting distracted by everything else. How can I lead you if you won't let me? I want to walk through your life with you, holding your hand. But you say, 'God, look at my marriage. It's falling apart. God, look at my health. My body is failing badly. God, look at my family. Look at my job. Look at my finances. Everything is a mess.' And you know what? I see all of that. I know, and it matters to me a lot. I desire you to bring your troubles to me, to trust me with them. But when is the last time you looked at me instead of just your worries? I brought your marriage together. I created your body. I gave you your children, your job, everything you have. And I will continue to take care of you. It is not my will for you to suffer, but through this suffering, I want you to learn to look at me for me, not just as a problem solver. I'm not a vending machine to receive the quarters of your prayers or complaints and magically pop out solutions that you then consume and walk away with, leaving me behind. I want a relationship with you. Love me like I have loved you. Remember when you first entrusted me with your life, when you first started to follow me. You walked beside me then. You let me lead you. I have not changed. I still love you as much as I did then, and you are still my child. I care deeply about the things that matter to you, but I desire for myself to be the main focus of your life. I am the only constant in life. I am the one thing that will never change. I am the only thing you can ever truly hold on to, because everything else will disappear. Trust me. Walk with me. Learn to rely on me through everything. Then you will find peace and healing." And Mike knew that he needed to change, to learn to focus on God even when it felt as if everything was falling down around him. He needed that constant, that anchor that would hold him, because looking at only his problems was destroying his life and mind even faster than his body was destroying itself. I wish I could say that Mike was miraculously cured at that moment, but this isn't that type of story. Today, a decade later, he still continues to fight with its body and its severe limitations, although his trips to the hospital are much less frequent. He has an extremely limited diet, which helps control the symptoms, and he is now able to put on weight. He's still married, and he and his wife live relatively peaceful lives. His relationships with his children are improving, and he can now work limitedly, although he mainly works from home. Above all, he never forgets that God is his anchor and the one leading him through life. He can finally say, along with his church friend, that he is glad he went through it all, although he doesn't ever, ever want to repeat it, because he came out on the other side stronger in his faith, able to seek God in all circumstances, and all around a better man. No matter what you believe, may the Lord bless you with his love. May you know that he keeps you close in his hand. May you see his wonderful face shining on you. May you experience the amazing graciousness of his forgiveness. May you find the true peace that he offers. And may you experience it all the days of your life. Thank you for listening.